What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Kane and the Great Khali announced for the Hall of Fame. Peacock erases two controversial WWE moments. Is the recent return of the Fiend not Bray Wyatt? Tessa Blanchard seen training with WWE superstars and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now our first story looks at Kane and the Great Khali announced for the Hall of Fame. Two big names, both literally and figuratively, have been added to the 2021 Hall of Fame class. First off, congratulations to former World Heavyweight Champion the Great Khali on his upcoming induction. WWE India reported that the big man is joining the 2021 Hall of Fame class, which so far includes Eric Bischoff, Molly Holly, and as rumored RVD. The Great Khali, aka Dilip Singh Rana, worked as a monster heel during the Ruthless Aggression era, as well as the comedic Punjabi playboy. His last appearance was at 2018's Greatest Royal Rumble. But the WWE also announced another induction, this time on The Bump, where The Undertaker announced his storyline brother entering the hall. Kane struggled for years to find his big break in wrestling, finally finding main event success as the Big Red Machine Kane, The Undertaker's sinister sibling. Jacobs is currently serving as mayor of Knoxville County and is seeking re-election. Kane's induction has been speculated for years, and it's a well-deserved one based on his career longevity and success. Next up, Batista confirms his absence from the Hall of Fame ceremony. Whilst those two big men are getting inducted, Dave Batista has confirmed he will not be inducted into the Hall of Fame despite being elected into the 2020 class. You may recall us suggesting Big Dave's absence having to do with many commitments, and that's the case, with Batista tweeting, "To the WWE Universe, unfortunately due to previous obligations, I'm unable to be part of the WWE Hall of Fame this year. By my request, they have agreed to induct me at a future ceremony where I'll be able to properly thank the fans and people who made my career possible." This is a good move, as inducting Batista without him present would deny him and his fans the chance to celebrate his big accomplishment. Perhaps more importantly, Batista's absence would deny him the chance to interact with his fellow wrestlers on such a historic night. Next up, Keith Lee missing in action. And where is Keith Lee? That's the question the WWE Universe is making after the Limitless One made his main roster debut last year, getting a substantial push before slowly slipping out of the main event. Even worse, Lee has been gone from television since 8 February when he defeated Matt Riddle on Raw. As we reported last week, Lee tweeted a message to his fans thanking them for their concern. So what's up with Lee? Well, apparently he's nowhere to be found. Ringside News' Steve Carrier recently tweeted, "We've been asked by a ton of fans about Keith Lee. His situation remains a mystery, but we can confirm that he hasn't been at the Thunderdome. So it's not a case of him showing up and sitting at catering. Lee hasn't been around." Now the WWE prefers to keep any information about its wrestlers hidden until it really needs to disclose it, something we recently saw with Charlotte Flair's mysterious absence and subsequent revelation that she tested positive for COVID. Obviously there's something going on with Keith Lee behind the scenes, but the WWE is doing everything it can to hide whether it's a personal issue or an undisclosed injury. Now the problem with situations like Lee's is that it fuels wild speculation, often leading to incredible rumors. Sometimes the rumors end up being true, such as when Sasha Banks took time off after WrestleMania 35 and considered stepping away from wrestling, and other times they're clickbait. Now we will continue following this story as details emerge, but for now there is nothing to report other than Lee is off television and absent from backstage. Next up, does Big E still have heat with Hulk Hogan? Hulk Hogan is an icon in the entertainment world, but when his racist remarks emerged on a private video, Hogan's image was seriously tarnished, so much so that the WWE kicked out Hogan out of its Hall of Fame and parted ways with him. Hogan worked hard to apologize for his remarks and seemingly learned from them, with the WWE having him apologize to the entire locker room backstage at 2018's Extreme Rules show. However, not everyone seems to be comfortable with Hogan due to his past remarks, one person being current Intercontinental Champion Big E. During a recent episode of the New Day's Feel the Power podcast, Big E commented on the 2008 American Gladiators reboot, a show hosted by Hogan and Layla Ali. They tried rebooting it later when it was hosted by Layla Ali and some other guy, but it didn't work. Big E's seeming snub comes at an interesting time as Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil are scheduled to co-host this year's Showcase of the Immortals. Titus O'Neil is one who's also not really acknowledged much of Hogan. Just look at the tweet, he's tagged in the Raymond James Stadium, but Hulk Hogan is nowhere to be seen. But what do you think of Big E's remarks, and are they evidence of Big E still not forgiving Hogan for his remarks? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Peacock raises 2 controversial WWE moments. The fans who checked out the WWE Network on Peacock have noticed a lot of content is missing, and while Dave Meltzer reported rumor has it Peacock estimates that all of the network's content will be transferred by SummerSlam, one match and one moment has been deleted forever. The match in question is the infamous Roddy Piper vs Bad News Brown bout from WrestleMania 6 that saw Piper paint half his body in black. For some critics, this move was Piper mocking Brown's race. Piper has repeatedly said there was no racist intent behind the segment and he was trying to show that race shouldn't be important. However, the other moment is Vince McMahon dropping the N-word at 2005 Survivor Series pay-per-view. What are your thoughts? What could be erased next? Next up, Tessa Blanchard training in WWE. Tessa Blanchard is one of wrestling's hottest free agents, and fans are curious where the former Impact World Champion plans on working next. While there have been rumors of her working in AEW or the WWE, nothing substantial has come about so far. However, a recent Tessa tweet has some fans thinking she's leaning towards working in the WWE. The Hybrid School of Wrestling tweeted a photo of several wrestlers training. Great pic after a great night of training with all these stars. Ringside News noted the picture featured the likes of Sasha Banks, Bayley, Kalisto, and others. Tessa Blanchard was also present. Is this proof that Blanchard is thinking of heading to Titanland, or was it just a case of her training with members of an extended wrestling family? What do you guys think, and where would you like to see Blanchard work? And finally, is someone else playing the Fiend? Well, one of the wildest rumors currently circling the internet has to do whether someone else is playing the Fiend in his current incarnation. These rumors have to do with Bray Wyatt's real-life brother Bo Dallas, a wrestler who's been absent from WWE for some time, but who some fans think is the person who played the Fiend at Fastlane when he showed up during the Randy Orton-Alexa Bliss match. The main reason behind this theory seems to be that the new Fiend appears a bit smaller than the Fiend everyone knows and loves. Since Bo Dallas is a bit smaller than Bray, fans immediately began speculating that this could be a way for Vince McMahon to team Dallas with Bray and Alexa, although in what capacity is anyone's guess. One of the ideas is that the original version of the Fiend will show up at some point, confusing Randy Orton, and hopefully not confusing fans with a convoluted storyline. Now, there is little evidence to support this rumor, but it's so fascinating that we wanted to share it with viewers. What do you think of this potential storyline? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.